Mom has been dead for 2 years, and I was just texted our secret safe word. We've only ever used the safe word 3 times. The first time we ever used it was when I was 11. My parents were divorced due to my abusive father, and I was going over to see him for the first time in a few weeks. One thing led to another, then he began to drink a lot. I just wasn't comfortable. He threw around the bottles and one of them shattered on the floor. He insisted that I stay with him on the couch. That's when I decided to text my mom. Our safe word was 2 punctuations. If I used 2 of any punctuation at the end, that meant I needed help or wanted to leave but didn't want a person near me to know. Hey mom. Hey, your uncle just called and I might need to come get you. Can you tell your father that you have to leave? Do I have to? Yes, please pack up. That way I saved face and could blame my mom. I did use it from time to time, but it was rare. I knew I always had that safety net growing up though. I was pretty safe in the area we lived in. It was a small town on the outskirts of a college town and I was advanced for my age, so most of my friends were the kids my mom was always around with the shelters, and they were pretty laid back kids for the most part. I didn't hang out with any rebellious kids and never really did anything stupid enough to be noted until college. When I started college 2 years early, I realized really quickly how safe my little town was. I was graduating early and only 16, but the college I went to was the one right next to our town and I could live at home and drive to campus and such. I had gotten drunk a small handful of times, but my friends and I were always safe and didn't drive. My first frat party was a lot. I'd never seen so many drunk people doing such crazy stuff. It was exhilarating but also really overwhelming. I ended up finding a quiet corner with a few people chilling. I struck up a conversation with a cute guy and he offered to get me a drink. I know, dumb naive girl. I didn't think twice and drank the drink. About 10 minutes later, I started feeling really strange and went to the bathroom. I had my phone in my hand while I heard the guy knocking on the door, but I could barely see my screen as I texted my mom. I'm on Ratford Street. Can I stay a little past curfew? Absolutely not. I'm coming to pick you up right now, young lady. It was all I could see to press in my rapidly blurring state before the guy managed to get the door open and help me out of the bathroom. He checked my phone, saw the messages to my mom and with a snide huff, called me a worthless baby, kicked me in the thigh, and left me sitting in the hallway alone. I know for a fact my mom got me out of a horrible situation that night. Part of our safe word was if we included an address, it was an emergency. An address meant danger. She had burned that into my memory. Know the address, write it down, copy it as a memo on your phone, anything. So, I memorized addresses before I went to parties and she saved me that night. She didn't get mad when I was drinking or somewhere she had warned me against going. She was just so worried about me and wanted me to be okay. That night, she took me to the hospital and they put me on saline and something else to help flush the drug from my system. I just remember mom sitting by my bed, looking relieved but still worried. I didn't realize how dangerous that situation could have gotten, but she did. Beyond that, I don't remember ever needing a safe word. She talked to me and told me the hard truths of being a young woman in today's world after I sobered up, and I've been very careful ever since. Last month, my mom passed away from a fatal heart attack. She had always had a weak heart and she was saving up money to get a pacemaker, but it just didn't happen fast enough. I was completely devastated. I thought of my mom as a permanent fixture in my life, the rock that was always keeping me grounded and safe. She was immortal in my eyes and I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to move on with my life without my confidant, my protector. I just didn't know what to do when I opened her door and she wasn't there. I just cried. Knowing she would never be there again was just so horrible. I texted her phone and it rang on the table. I looked at it and wanted to throw it across the room, but I would never do that. I could never do that. She loved that damn phone. She loved being able to have her pictures and music all together and play her phone games. She would sit and watch short films and funny videos for hours after she should be sleeping. It was her guilty pleasure, that phone. That's when the thought struck me. I remember the funeral director told me I could place items in her casket that were important to her, and I decided then and there I would clone her phone on my computer to save all her data and pictures, and I would give her her phone. I loved the idea of her playing her phone games and laughing at videos in the afterlife. The thought made me smile and took a sliver of the grief away. I knew it was silly and I didn't know how long her cell bill would be paid for, but I just couldn't stop thinking about how fitting it would be. She always joked about coming back to haunt me just to play her games and watch videos, so why not give her something to tie her over until she sorted out how to haunt me to get her fix. Her funeral was sad but lovely. She was surrounded by her favorite flowers, tiger lilies and birds of paradise. Woman after woman came up to me and told me how much of a difference my mom made in her lives. I thought of all the lives that she touched and all the people she helped throughout her life. Despite my grief, I couldn't help but to be proud of my mom. I'm proud to be her daughter. Getting home after the wake and more condolences, I finally sat down on mom's couch and turned my ringer on for the first time since I left for the funeral. Immediately, I got a missed text notification. It was from my mom. I love you too. I stared at my phone. The text I had sent her the day she died was the right before it, so I knew it wasn't a spoof number. I thought for a minute that this was some prank, but I couldn't figure out who would do something like this. It had double punctuation. Nobody knew about that except me and her. I decided to assume it was a well-meaning friend of my mom, so maybe shared her number. I responded, please don't text me from this number. This is my mom's number and she just passed away. I waited. I saw the ... of typing. My heart was in my throat as I waited to get a text back from whoever was using my mom's phone number. I'm at redacted location. Can you come visit me? My heart froze in my chest. I hadn't noticed on the first message. I was too freaked out. 2 periods. I reread the second message. That was the cemetery's location with 2 question marks. She had to have been buried alive. I called the funeral director and begged him to meet me back at the plot. Something was wrong. He swore up and down she couldn't be alive. They didn't do an autopsy, but she was dead. I just cried and begged and showed him the text until he finally agreed to meet me and help me find out what was going on. I put that phone in my mother's casket myself before they sealed it and lowered it down. Nobody has that phone, but her finally convinced nothing would soothe my panic crying. He called an emergency exhibition. The ground was still freshly filled in, so getting her dug up fast was easy. They opened her casket and her phone was in her hand rather than in the purse at her side. I put in there with her on her screen was an unsent message to me. That was the day they found the first body.